Hey, my parents weren't the best. In fact, they were terrible. They argued, gambled, drank too much, and neglected me. I remember crying with hunger as there was no food to eat because my parents had spent their last $20 on alcohol. At the age of 5, the authorities took me away. My parents didn't seem all that bothered, as they didn't try to change to get me back. A new family adopted me. They were friendly people who lived in a nice area. They worked hard and cared for each other. They couldn't have kids but longed for a family, which is why they decided to adopt me. They made me feel welcome, and I soon settled in as an actual part of the family. A year later, they adopted a girl who was a year younger than me, Elisa. She was prone to unprovoked outbursts. I guess she'd been through a lot. At times, she also seemed mature beyond her years. I guess we had a normal sister-sister relationship. It was very love-hate, but deep down, I cared for her like she was my real sister. Then, eventually, luck has come to us. My dad's company hit success. The press interviewed him, and there was even an article about him in a nationwide newspaper. The next week, to my surprise, my biological parents sent me a letter. In it, they told me how they both regretted their behavior, but they'd been in bad places. They were better now, and they wanted to rebuild their relationships with me. I was so confused. So I showed the letter to my adoptive parents, and they told me to follow my heart. I love my new family, but a part of me still yearned for my biological parents. I knew I had to give them a chance. They came to visit me at my house. They were so warm and welcoming, and my biological mom wouldn't stop hugging me and calling me her baby girl. As cringeworthy as this was, I kinda liked it. They'd traveled a long way, so my adoptive parents let them stay for dinner. Then afterward, my biological mom complained of having a migraine. She lay out on the couch in agony. Since it's getting late anyway, my adoptive parents offered them the guest room. The next day, I walked into the kitchen to see my biological dad making pancakes, while my biological mom chatted away to my adoptive mom and dad. I couldn't stop smiling. This felt so good. My sister walked in, but she turned around ASAP as she saw us. Her rude behavior annoyed me, but I put it down to jealousy, as she didn't have any contact at all with her birth parents. That evening, my adoptive parents told me that if I was okay with it, my biological parents would be staying for the summer break. I was excited, as it meant that I'd have time to get to know them properly. Elisa wasn't happy about it. I saw her arguing with Mom and overheard a part of the conversation. "There's something not right with them." She was silent when she saw me. I had to bite on my lip to not say anything. Why couldn't she just be happy for me? Over the next few weeks, I had an amazing time hanging out with my biological parents. I didn't care that I was 18. I wanted to do all the things I never got to do with them as a little kid. It was amazing. They really seemed to have changed. So, okay, they so far hadn't paid for anything, as one time my biological mom left her purse at home, and another time they had a problem with their bank. But this was no big deal. I just paid for stuff with my summer spending money. Elisa was not cool with my biological parents. She barely spoke to them, and when she did, she made snide comments. One time I gave my biological dad $20 as he couldn't find his wallet, and Elisa snorted and said, "Sounds about right." I confronted her about it, and she told me that I should be wary of them, as she'd caught my biological mom trying on our mom's clothes and jewelry, and my biological dad lurking around our dad's office. I told her to stop being so green with envy, as the shade didn't suit her. Summer break ended, and my parents went back home. We agreed that they'd come and stay for a long weekend every month. Whenever they were over, Elisa acted like a brat. She shut herself in her bedroom and refused to talk to them. One time, on the day before they left, my biological parents invited my adoptive parents to join them on a trip to their hometown, as a thank you to them. I found this was a little odd, as they were on the tight side with their money. My adoptive parents wanted to go, but Elisa went on and on about how they couldn't drop their important work meeting on the day after, and she snidely told my biological parents that people in the real world had to work. Elisa was so rude. It was really embarrassing. My adoptive parents politely declined the road trip, and my biological parents left. The next day, my adoptive dad wasn't feeling well, so Mom dragged me to work with her. Apparently, it was about time I learned about the family company. My sister wanted to come, but my dad told her off for being rude in front of guests. Elisa got mad, said my biological parents were frauds and we were all dumb for not seeing it. Then she stomped off. We had a driver take us to the meeting. On the way there, another car rammed into us. It was a hit and run. We were all trapped in the car. It was terrifying. Luckily, the ambulance arrived quickly and got us all out. Mom had a sprained wrist, and I just had cuts and bruises. But the driver's injuries were more serious. The police ran an investigation and quickly found out who'd been in the other car. It was my biological parents. Turns out Elisa was right, and they were evil all along. They thought my adoptive mom and dad were in the car, not me. They wanted my parents to die so they could trick me into giving them all my inheritance money. Thankfully, they're now both in jail, and with time, the driver will make a full recovery. I can't help but to think about what could have been if my dad was driving and my mom was riding shotgun that day, or if my sister had tagged along. Then it could have ended with me losing them. It sucks that my biological parents broke my trust like that. I regret ever letting them back into my life. I don't know how they can be so evil. Family isn't always about blood and genes. I know now that there's so much more to it than that. I worry that I'll turn out like them, but my adoptive family keeps telling me that this will never happen, as I have a good heart. It's going to take some time to come to terms with what happened, but with the help of my amazing family, I know I'll get through it.